Hi, greetings. It's day-oyabunmi. Welcome back to another episode of Messages from Ori. Today I'm channeling warnings from our elevated ancestors. But first, if you're interested in a personal reading, a personal tarot reading, an Ifa reading, if you're interested in learning how to read tarot, if you're interested in Ifa-Orisa related ebooks, online trainings, check out my website, daydreamaustin.com. Okay. Okay. So I did this reading for Patreon and I was a little shocked by what came out. Like I expected individual warnings, right, for the people watching to come out, but it wasn't like that. It was like a collective message about things we need to be on the lookout for in society. And I was like, okay. All right. But it made me want to do it for the collective. So we're going to work with the clear quartz today and the Miss Cleo's Tarot Power Deck. Okay. So we'll start with the clear quartz. Remember, this is a collective reading. So what typically happens with readings like this is whoever's guides or ancestors are the strongest will come through with the most, clear messages. So sometimes when you don't get a message, that's what it is. It's like your guides need to they got to fight to get these messages through in such a short period of time, okay? This is interesting. So the warning for some of you is the divine says, or the ancestors say that if, say you were thinking about doing something, but you have questions about it, right? And you may be being rushed into making a decision, the ancestors say no. I literally see a question mark in the crystal. They want you to get your questions answered before rushing into a situation. That's for one, two, or some of you. Be careful of some type of impact, crushing. Be careful of a car accident for some of you. I also saw something about if you're pregnant, really taking it easy because someone may overexert themselves and end up miscarrying. The ancestors are warning you against being too in your head, too bogged down by the troubles of life. There's a man here. For some of you, you have a masculine ancestor who's really watching over you. This can also be a female ancestor who had very short hair like mine, or kept her hair very tightly slicked back. Be careful of something about children, bringing forth children, embryos. Be careful about the chemicals you're exposing yourself to. There's something about the ancestors, and this came up in the Patreon reading, like there's a cry from the ancestors to take good care of our children. And they're going back as far as just embryos. So that means we have to take really good care of ourselves. For some of you, there is some type of trouble coming. I heard brace for impact. It might be on a larger scale, but it might be for individuals as well. Do a lot of grounding activities to prepare for what's to come, because you're going to need to learn how to, or, some of you may already have this gift, right? To be able to be calm in the center of the storm. Okay? So let's get into the tarot. More warnings from our ancestors. See what they talking about. Warnings from our elevated ancestors. What do we need to know? What's the warnings for those watching? Warnings for those watching from our ancestors, elevated ancestors. This may be because of the recession that we're facing, but there's going to be a need to be very resourceful. There's going to be a need to save. There's going to be a need to learn how to barter, just be very creative where your finances are concerned. You might have to figure out how to stretch your dollar a lot in the coming days, weeks, months. Some of you need to repair your relationship with finances and the energy of currency. I'm seeing through the infinity symbol. Think about what money is. Think about how it's used. It literally is used as an exchange, right? Like I earn money and then I give it to someone else for the goods and services that I am interested in. Somebody else is going to give me money for goods and services that I provide. It's like this continuous flow of energy. Your ancestors are saying, hold on to it, get creative, get resourceful. Oh, and they're going to be helping you get money. You see how it kind of looks like the money is falling out the sky? They're going to be supporting you in receiving money. It'll kind of come out of nowhere, which is really good. You're being warned here with the Ace of Swords to tell the truth. So with that next to the Two of Coins, going into debt right now, big purchases where you don't have the money kind of sitting around won't be a good idea for some reason. I don't know if people are going to be, maybe times will just get really tight and something that you thought you could afford, you won't be able to afford it. Your ancestors are saying someone here needs to avoid intoxication. There's, the possibility of a stumble, a fall with intoxication, or falling into a bad situation or an outcome that's not good. Your ancestors are warning you against being a fool. Like some of you are ignoring the truth about a situation, are not seeing a situation clearly with the Two of Swords here in the Fool. For some of you, your animal guide is a dog. Some of you have dogs. For someone listening, if you have a dog that you care for, this is probably for you. Your ancestors are warning you against taking foolish action and closing your eyes and jumping into situations. You need to go into situations with your eyes like open. There's a need for clarity and truth right now, because if not, you can fall into a situation that's very, very harmful for you. I'm hearing tell the truth. There may be a situation where you're going to be asked about something and wow, I feel it. It's going to be very uncomfortable for you to tell the truth. Very uncomfortable. You won't like it. You're going to have to, though, and really stand in your truth. Face up to your truth, the ancestors are saying. The ancestors are warning against some type of battle or squabble. I'm getting like an inner squabble. For some of you, your ancestors are pissed because you're fighting with family members. You guys are having like some type of real serious brawl. This could be about this could be about finances, someone not being honest, but there's just like a lot of discord in a family situation, and the ancestors are warning you against it, but also just pissed off that you all are doing this. This is 3 people. I'm also getting this idea where now might not be a good time to do things in groups of 3 when it comes to money or finances. It may cause some type of fight. Like 2 people might be better, or 4. And I know Ifa talks about that in certain Odu. So if you are in Ifa-Orisa tradition and you get readings, if you're about to enter into an agreement with some people, you might want to check it with Ifa first. Yeah, but your ancestors, they're warning you against fighting, but also some of them are pissed that you are fighting with someone close to you. Be on guard when you're out, because a fight might start suddenly and you might get impacted by it or hit and you're not even in it. You know, like it just kind of something's happening. Say you're somewhere, right? Like you're chilling and a group starts fighting behind you and then they kind of rush your way. So be careful of your surroundings. Be careful of intoxicated people. If you're in a space and there's someone who's intoxicated and belligerent, get out of the space immediately. Any other warnings from our elevated ancestors? What do I need you to know? They want you to be on guard to really protect your foundation, your family. This is something that came through in the Patreon reading as well. You see how this person is on the lookout? Your ancestors want you to be on guard because there's something happening that's not on the up and up. That's not okay. And it might be actually something behind the scenes, but they still want you to be on guard and on point. That's so interesting. Yeah, kind of like surveying the land. Protect your property. Really make sure your security systems are good. Make sure your car doors are locked. Make sure your children are good, your family members are good. There's something about looking out for yourself, looking out for your land, for the things that belong to you. Protecting your family, shielding your family, and really prioritizing your family, your joy, right? Your relationships, your unions. The ancestors are warning about a couple being pulled in two different directions. The need to kind of get on the same page, right? So even looking out for that, like really just being on guard, because there may be some type of disruptive energies entering into our lives and situations that can cause harm. What are some other warnings from our elevated ancestors? Warnings from the elevated ancestors. Yes, a lot about self-protection, perseverance, like really being on the lookout for anything that could be troublesome to you and for you. Your ancestors are saying there's a lot of fire, a lot of passion, and they want you to be careful when you're out because you may be in places where passions may flare. So it's important for you to be on guard when it comes to that. Your ancestors are warning you to stay on top of things in your life. Like, don't take things for granted. Don't expect them to just work out. Like, do what you need to do to make sure things work out for you and your loved ones, okay? Like, that is the top priority right now. That's very interesting. And the last card, your ancestors, your elevated ancestors. Well, I'll take this as the last card on the bottom of the deck. Protect your children. That came out so clearly in the Patreon reading. There's something going on. You see how strong this child is. Protect your children. Give them things that are going to strengthen their bodies, that are going to strengthen them mentally, emotionally, and physically. The divine was telling me, or the ancestors were telling me in that Patreon reading, that things are being offered to us, and people are saying they're good for us and they're helpful, but they're not. The ancestors were very adamant about that. Like, things are being handed to us. You see all the hands coming from the sun that are not helpful. And some of the stuff being handed to your children are not helpful. And you know that. Like, you have a feeling. Follow that feeling and be willing to stand in that truth. And lastly, with the Seven of Cups, With the Seven of Cups here, be careful of the choices you're making. This is a time where we have to be very careful of the directions we choose to go in, the people we choose to spend time with, the work we choose to do, the food we choose to eat. Our choices are going to be so important, and your ancestors want you to know that. Make choices that are going to bring the best possible outcomes for you and the other people involved. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.